Hello friends, this is Lindsay for Fontsy. Thanks so much for joining me in today's tutorial where we are doing not one but two projects in this tutorial because we're showing you the different kinds of vinyl that you can use to make different kinds of projects. So we're talking about adhesive vinyl and heat transfer vinyl. And I'm going to be using my Cricut cutting machine for these, so we'll share some Cricut cut material settings, but if you don't have a Cricut, that's totally fine. Still stick around because we're really talking about both types of vinyl, and you might pick up some tips and tricks to help you with your projects that you make with your cutting machine. So like I said, we're making two projects, a home decor sign and a canvas bag. So let's go ahead and get started. So in a nutshell, there's two main types of vinyl, and one is called heat transfer vinyl, or HTV for short. You might also hear it referred to as t-shirt vinyl or iron-on vinyl, and that's because it's mainly applied to textiles like fabric, so t-shirts, bags, etc. And it does require the use of heat during application. So you'll either need a heat press, a Cricut Easy Press, or your home iron. Caesar Easy Weed is a popular type of heat transfer vinyl, and it's really easy to cut with your Cricut. I've got the Cricut Maker here. We're using Caesar Easy Weed Glow in the Dark to create a fun design that will press onto a cotton canvas bag. So in Cricut Design Space, you're going to open up your design by clicking Upload, then Upload Image, browse, and locate the SVG that you saved onto your computer. And the design that I'm using comes from Fontsy's exclusive October 2021 SVG and font bundle. So I've put a link in the video description so you can check that out. So then click Upload, click on the image, and click Insert Images. And the image will be placed into your workspace. And then you'll probably need to resize the image. I want this one to be 9 inches wide. So I'll need to adjust the width, and here this icon is in the closed position, the locked position. So you'll know that that means that if you adjust either the height or the width, the other will adjust automatically. So now I'm ready to cut, right? So I'm going to click Make It in the top right corner, and then, oh no, look what's happened. The design is all taken apart. It doesn't look at all like it did on the last screen. But don't worry, we just forgot one step. So to go back, click the three lines in the top left corner, then click Canvas, and then you'll want to select the entire image or images that you're using, and then click the Attach button here in the bottom right corner. Then click Make It, and then you'll see that the design stays all put together exactly how we want it cut out. Except for one thing. Designs cut in HTV usually need to be backwards or mirrored. A lot of HTV has to be cut this way. And the manufacturer of the HTV usually will tell you if you need to mirror the design. And with Caesar Easy Weed, you do. So one way to mirror it in Cricut Design Space is to click the mirror button here. And then the design will flip backwards. Then click Continue and turn on your machine. Design Space is going to connect to your machine. I'm connecting my Cricut Maker via Bluetooth. And then you'll need to set your base material. So click Browse All Material and search Heat Transfer. And then click on the Heat Transfer Non-Cricut option. This is the recommended cut setting from Caesar. And then Design Space is just going to set the cut settings now that you've chosen the material. And there's even a little reminder here to make sure that the design is mirrored, and even tells you how to load the material onto the mat. In the section below that, you'll see the recommended tool, the fine point blade, which is already loaded into the machine. So let's go ahead and load our mat. And here's the HTV. You'll find that HTV comes in sheets or maybe on a roll. And so you'll want to cut off just a chunk that you're going to work with, a piece that is going to be bigger than your design. And you can use a paper trimmer like this one to cut the HTV, or you can just use scissors. but just take that piece and stick it onto your cutting mat. And you want to cover it or put that in the same position of the mat as it was on the computer screen, so in the top left corner in this case. You want the shiny side of the HTV facing down, and you want the HTV to lay nice and smooth, so no bumps. And a brayer is a very handy tool to roll over the HTV just to make sure that it's stuck down firmly without any bumps in it. Then go ahead and load the mat into your Cricut and press go, and your Cricut is going to cut out the design. And when it's done, you'll unload the mat. And then next, you're going to have to weed out the excess HTV around the design. And you may find it easiest to do that by keeping the HTV on the cutting mat while you weed, and because it helps keep that piece down, so you can just stab and grab and pull up that excess HTV. I like to use a hand sewing needle, but there's lots of weeding tools out there, so use what you're comfortable with. Because once you're done weeding, you can remove the weeded transfer from the mat, and then it's ready to press onto your surface. So you'll want to follow the manufacturer's directions for pressing their HTV. So with Caesar Easy Weed, I am going to be using my heat press. I put a pressing pillow inside the bag. And then the first thing that you'll want to do is a pre-press, about 2 to 3 seconds. And then arrange that weeded transfer, right where you want it, and cover it with a piece of parchment paper or cover sheet. And then you'll press Caesar Easy Weed for 10 to 15 seconds at 305 degrees Fahrenheit. Then you'll remove the carrier sheet from over the HTV, and you've just created a custom bag or t-shirt or whatever with HTV, your Cricut, and your heat press. And we did say that this was Caesar Easy Weed Glow in the Dark. So you can take it into a dark room and watch that design glow. It looks super, super cool. The second main type of vinyl is adhesive vinyl, but you may hear it referred to as like sign vinyl or sticker vinyl, and that's because the vinyl has a sticky back to it that is used to create things like signs, vinyl decals that you can apply to pretty much any smooth, flat, non-porous surface like glass, mugs, tumblers, metal, etc. Oracal 651 is a brand of permanent adhesive vinyl, and it's a popular choice with crafters, and that's what I have here. You can find that it comes on, in a sheet or on a roll, and you can use your Cricut to cut out a fun vinyl design or text, which is what I'm going to do here. And you'll open the design that you're going to be cutting the same way as you did before with the HTV. Remember to click attach before clicking make it, so the design stays together. And you'll want to use the vinyl setting, but notice how you're not going to mirror the design. You're just going to cut it out just as it is, no mirroring. So load your cutting mat with that piece of vinyl with the vinyl side facing up, and make sure that the piece of vinyl that you load onto the mat is bigger than the design and in the right place. Then load the mat into the Cricut and press go. And the machine is going to cut out your design. This is a home fall decor sign that I'm making, and you can find the design in Fontsy's October bundle. So again, there's a link in the video description if you want to check that out. And once it's done cutting, you're going to weed out the excess vinyl around the design. And again, you might find it easiest to keep the vinyl on the cutting mat so it stays down while you're weeding. And once you've weeded out all that extra vinyl, for adhesive vinyl, what you're going to need is something called transfer tape or transfer paper to transfer the design onto your surface. And transfer tape, it comes in sheets and rolls. Here's some clear medium tack transfer tape on a roll. And you want to cut a piece that is bigger than the design. And you're also going to need a tool to burnish the design. So something with a flat edge, even like an old gift card or credit card would work. and you're gonna lay that transfer tape over the weeded vinyl design and use your burnishing tool to really burnish that transfer tape over it. And then here's an easy way to get that design off the mat. Flip the mat over and roll the cutting mat off the back of the vinyl. And then you'll need to remove the vinyl backing from the weeded design. And you might actually find it easiest to do that by rolling the vinyl backing off of the vinyl. So the vinyl is going to stick to the transfer tape. So just roll that vinyl backing off. And then here's another little tip that you might find helpful. Replace this vinyl backing with a piece of translucent parchment paper. And this is going to help you later when you go to line up your design on your surface, which is a floating glass frame here. Make sure it's nice and clean. Wipe it down with some isopropyl alcohol and a paper towel. And then take your vinyl decal and some scissors and cut right around the edge of it. Cut through the transfer tape and the parchment paper, but don't cut the vinyl. Then take that piece and line it up on your surface with the parchment paper behind it. It's easy to see through it if you needed to see the surface underneath to get that all lined up. And with that parchment paper, you can slide it around until that design is exactly where you want it. You can use a ruler to make sure it's positioned straight and even. And then once it's exactly where you want it, take a piece of blue painter's tape right down the middle of the design, and this is going to act like a hinge. So you can flip back one side of the vinyl decal, cut away the parchment underneath, and then use that painter's tape as a hinge so you can lay the right side back down exactly where it was positioned before. So you can apply the vinyl decal exactly where you want it. And then with that right side applied, you can remove the painter's tape and use the right side as a hinge to repeat it on the left side. And then burnish the vinyl down really, really well. And this method, my friends, is called the hinge method of applying vinyl. And I've found that it is very effective for getting that vinyl on exactly where you want it on the first try. And then the last thing you're gonna do after burnishing the design down really well is remove the transfer tape from over the top of the vinyl. And there you have it, my friends, a vinyl sign that you made with your Cricut. So there you have it, my friends. We did 2 projects in today's tutorial using 2 different kinds of vinyl, adhesive vinyl and heat transfer vinyl with our Cricut cutting machine. I hope you'll give these projects a try. If you like the designs and you want to pick them up, you can find them in the October 2021 SVG and font bundle. So there's a link in the video description to check that out. So my friends, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.